Since the media is completely dominated by the assassination of Charlie Kirk, we're going to stick with the narrative today only from a different angle. My intention is not to sway you either way because, frankly, I don't know the truth yet. There's probably only a handful of people that really know what's going on with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. What I can tell you is I have watched psyops and black flags for over 20 years now. Sometimes I get a gut feeling when I first hear the news flash come out. I got that feeling when I learned that Charlie had been shot, even before we knew that he had gone. Then I saw the horrific close-up published by Alex Jones showing blood spewing out of his carotid artery. The way the internet works is once posted, that same video is circulated, thousands and even millions of times retweeted, reposted, and shared millions of times across the internet. So one video can control the narrative. Again, I'm not saying that is the case here, but when I saw that video, it horrified me first, and then I kept looking at it, and I began wondering if blood really would project so far from such a wound. Well, I learned that the blood would shoot out in spurts synchronized with the heartbeat. That's not what this video shows. It shows a non-stop flow, more like a water faucet than a pump. Now let's look for those AI artifacts that we talked about. You will note that before the shot, Charlie was wearing a gold ring on his wedding finger. After the shooting, the ring moves to his pinky finger. So then more images started coming out, and actually videos, which are quite clearly showing that Charlie's own security team was giving hand signals to someone in the audience, not only one person, but multiple people standing behind. In fact, one such person gave the signal seconds before the shot rang out, but that's still not all. So we are going to look at video of Charlie being carried out after the shooting next. Several people carried Charlie from the stage to a vehicle just a few feet behind it, maybe 20 feet behind the tent or so. That's odd because there are usually waiting ambulances at events like this. The odd thing that I noticed, however, was that these people were all carrying Charlie, and there wasn't one drop of blood on the ground. A tourniquet to a gunshot wound in the carotid artery is not feasible or recommended because a tourniquet tight enough to compress the carotid artery would likely crush the trachea, causing suffocation. So, why wasn't there one drop of blood on the ground when they were carrying Charlie to the car? It's not my job to convince you of anything. I'm simply showing you what is out there when you look hard enough. It's up to you to say, I felt it from the start and I don't believe that it's real, or you can say, that's conspiracy theories and you're a liar, or maybe you'll say, let me put that in the filing cabinet of my mind when I'm trying to understand what is really going on. I make no judgment as to the validity of the videos, the theory, or the news narratives that we're hearing. I simply open my mind and my heart to all possibilities. So here we go. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the button for notifications. And share as much as you can, because that is what patriots do, and that's how we're going to come to a full awakening in this world. So here we go. Shortly after Charlie was shot, a Q post appeared by a very reliable QAnon known as SGAnon. He reposted this Q drop in relationship to Charlie's name, and he posted it literally within minutes of the shooting. So that was my first external validation that things may not be as they appear. Now that I've piqued your interest, hopefully I just want to talk a little bit further about my thoughts on this. These are my observations and thoughts regarding what this could possibly be about. First, it's important to notice that the media is dominated right now with Charlie Kirk. If you go to your news feeds, there's nothing else that comes up because the algorithms are so inundated with all kinds of pro and con content about Charlie Kirk right now. So that tells me that whether it's deliberate or not, there's a lot of stuff that could be going on in Congress, in the Supreme Court, in the White House, that they are trying to keep under wraps for the moment. So that's one potential motive when something like this might happen, is to control the narrative. Second, Charlie's been working for a long time. He's been on the inside. There's people that have even talked about him potentially being part of a government asset in some capacity. It's clear that he has been closely aligned for many years now with key Republicans and Trump supporters primarily. So he's been tight with the Trump administration, and he's been out among campuses, putting himself right in the middle of all kinds of leftist resistance. Considering the Q post that was made, it's very possible he's going to be a government witness from things that he's seen and maybe even consulted on. He's done his work, and like any good soldier, he and his family deserve a break. That's my hopes for Charlie, is that his job is over, and now he can take a well-deserved drop out of the spotlight to spend time with his precious family. There's also the possibility, as many would say, that this is a dark or black hat op. That's always a possibility that we can't ignore, but just because something seems like it was a terrible thing doesn't mean that it was the deep state doing it. This event has opened the eyes of many Democrats regarding what they're seeing within the party that they have so vehemently supported. They are seeing politicians and major news outlets like MSNBC blame President Trump and blame Charlie himself for being shot. They are seeing just how mentally ill members of their party are by the thousands of videos being posted of people with Trump derangement syndrome, laughing and reveling in the death of Charlie and the fact that there is another young widow with 2 fatherless children right now. Why would the deep state do this? Well, the obvious answer is because they wanted to silence Charlie. But Charlie wasn't really revealing anything that they didn't necessarily want revealed. He was simply uniting people with different beliefs and teaching them how to have constructive and respectful verbal intercourse rather than attacking each other with closed minds. Would that be a reason for the deep state to harm him? Perhaps. But there are lots and lots of other people out there that are awakening the sleeping, so there's one other factor that I have considered, which is often a clue when it comes to ops and false flags. Namely, the shooter lived. The dark ones generally employ shooters through brainwash tactics, and they don't leave witnesses. This is well documented about Manchurian Candidates and MKUltra and many other programs that the military has been engaged in. This is an aspect that weighs heavy on me because the white hats don't deliberately kill innocent people. The deep state does, so the fact that the shooter is alive, the fact that the media narrative is being inundated and pulled away from something else that is going on with Charlie's assassination, and that Charlie was so closely aligned with the Trump administration that it's hard to believe that they weren't protecting him. So for these reasons, if I had to guess, I'd say this was a white hat psyop that is awakening millions of people across the world to the mental illness and the lack of compassion that has been created through the deliberate separation of our people for the purpose of destruction from within. Also, Charlie's widow has been posting some things that just don't sit right with many, but I'm not going to make judgments because everybody grieves in a different way, and as I said, I'm not making any allegations that Charlie is not gone. I'm just merely presenting arguments to why the graphics and circumstances could possibly point to the fact that he might still be with us. So sit tight, don't make any assumptions either way. I always say to just ride this awakening as if you're on a Sunday afternoon drive taking in the scenery. Don't get too tied up or emotionally involved in the events, just as if you were watching a movie. Because the reality is that we have been told from high sources that we are watching a movie and that it had to be this way. So you have a choice. You can allow this awakening to tear you apart emotionally and cause you to lose your job posting hateful content about Charlie. Or you can keep your eyes, minds, and heart open to the possibility that there is a plan. The end is known, and nothing can stop what is coming. So I decide to trust the plan. Regarding the official response video by President Trump, many have made comments that it looks like AI. I'm no expert, and this video looks pretty clean, but I asked Grok to analyze it, and here's what Grok said. The video in question, posted by Donald Trump, addresses the assassination of Charlie Kirk, a conservative activist killed on September 10, 2025, at Utah Valley University during a Turning Point USA event, sparking national debate on political violence and campus safety. Visual analysis reveals several anomalies suggestive of AI generation at 0:18 to 0:20. Trump's hand movements appear unnaturally stiff. His mouth movements at various points do not consistently match the audio, indicating potential lip-sync issues common in AI-generated content. The video's rapid production and release, combined with Trump's history of dismissing authentic videos as AI, for example, the September 2, 2025 White House window incident, fuels skepticism about its authenticity. Experts like Hani Farid from UC Berkeley note that while some elements like shadows and flag movements appear consistent, the overall execution lacks the fluidity expected in non-AI videos, aligning with trends of AI slop videos gaining traction online. The question then becomes, why in the world would President Trump use AI for this particular announcement? Is it a clue for the awakened that the Kirk video is AI? Was POTUS so upset that he couldn't do it? I don't think so. Again, I don't have the answer as to why he used AI on this particular video. Is he somehow not where he's supposed to be, or is he doing something covert and wasn't available? It appears that it's enhanced with AI, so it's not like he never recorded some portion of it, but it appears that he did, which is very uncommon to do with political communication. Trump's video, despite lacking digital watermarks, fits a pattern where AI-generated content is used to amplify political narratives. So there you have it. There are many different hypotheses out there, but to me, it seems more and more likely that Charlie could be alive and being moved into the witness protection program. I think out of everything we discussed, the fact that there was no blood dripping as he was being carried was the most obvious clue. Tell me what you think. Do you feel as certain that Charlie Kirk's death was real as you did 10 minutes ago? Either way, just remember that things are not what they seem in this war for our minds.